A couple of matchups, fellas. We've with Sean Stevens out on this wing in front of us here. Richard Hadley is picking up him. Just trying to pick up Clint Watt's direct opponent. They're playing either side, so they're not playing real tight on Watts at the moment.
A thump from Bradley for Southport went straight in the arms of Ben Roberts. His scrubby kick goes towards full forward, but it is the Sharks who are going to work it out again through Adam Devine, who's had a bit of it in the first quarter. Kicks out towards half back. The option not too good. McGrath there for the Lions picks up, kicks back inside to Headland, and Headland takes the mark. 45 metres out directly in front, and Desi Headland has the opportunity to put the first goal on the board of the afternoon.
Well, that time Adam Devine coming out of defence really didn't have a lot to kick to, but probably should have gone for the longer clearing option. Danny cleared the area a bit longer, and of course the line swooped on it. Yep. Desi Headland in the hole and has set up a set shot.
So Des Headland, who certainly a lot of eyes on out here this afternoon, has the opportunity to put the Lions' first goal on the board in the AFLQ Grand Final. The first goal of the afternoon, long drop punt off the boot, and I tell you what, it looks all right. Yep. The crowd behind the goals like it. Goal to the Lions, they're on the board. They go to 1-1-7. Southport are 2 behinds.
Still in the true wing position on the outer side of the ground, and the umpire will restart play with a bounce. Up they go in the ruck. It was won clearly by Bradley for the Sharks, but he's got no support at ground level. The Lions will get clear. Long kick comes towards their half-forward line. Drifting back Weller with a fly to the ball. Can't take the mark. The ball hits the deck. Good recovery on the ground from the Lions. A shuffle into their forward 50, but Lawton takes control of the footy for the Sharks. Cooks it around the corner. It was a bit of a dangerous kick. Headland did okay. Made the spoil, then gathered the crumb. He's just defensive side of the wing. Kicks it long and high. It's going to land just on 50. Big pack of players. Oh, good grab by the big Lions player in Mapleston, and he'll go back right on 50. So Mapleston, as some of the bits of paper fly out of the box here, goes for goal. It's a long kick, and he's dropped it. Great kick by Mapleston. The Lions go to 2-1-13. The Sharks are 2 behinds. We've played about, what do you reckon, 9.5 minutes?
It's approximately 13.5 at the moment.
Really? Well, there you go. It sure did. 13 minutes, all right, into the opening term.
And of course, Nick Mansbridge coming off the ground here. I'm just not sure what's quite happened there, but and being replaced by Nick Rains.
Good play there by the Sharks as they get it almost inside 50 by Gelling. He's had a go at goal, and I think he stopped it. Yes, so that was a quick transference of play from the boundary throw in. Bradley knocked it clear, and Gelling's put it through. So they're on the board with their first Southport. They're 1-2-8. The Lions 2-1-13.
Yeah, and Cupido just playing from behind at the moment. They're kicking into the teeth at the moment, the Lions, and Cupido just needs to get in front.
Bradley took clean possession from the ruck contest for the Sharks, kicked up towards where Pilcher was lurking, give the handball off, received it back, he's inside 50, snaps around the corner, that's accurate, it's a goal. So good play there by the Sharks. They shared it well, and they go to the front. They go to 2-4-16. The Lions 2-1-13.
Handball's off to Jenkins. Jenkins another handball away. The kick comes to half forward for the Sharks. The ball close to the boundary line. Pilcher there. Hot on his hammer, Hay. Hay picks up. Handballs to Roberts. Caught in the tackle. Another handball comes out to Hay. Runs across the wing, broadcast side. Goes onto his right foot. Sitting underneath it there on that occasion. Shaddock should have taken the mark. Didn't. Picked up on that occasion by Crosley for Southport. Kicks long to half forward. Hadley at the full of the ball. Marking contest. On hands and knees, Adrian Hill. Handballs out to Watts. Taps it to Pilcher. 45 out from goal for the Sharks. Drives it home. And it's another goal to Southport. That's his second. The resulting free kick for Southport will go to Luke Jenkins now. He's got the footy about 80 metres from goal. Kicks it to the hot spot at half forward. And coming out to take the mark, the big Mark Bradley. Mark Bradley has the footy. He'll kick from about 52 metres from goal. Eyes for the ball in the marking contest. Took a lovely mark, one grabber.
He'll hang on here and goes for the lead.
Goes short to Mackay. Up he goes. Can't mark. Pilcher at the back of the pack. Hooks across his body from 20 metres out, and he's put it through. Goal number 3, if you don't mind, umpire to Jamie Pilcher. He's on fire in the first quarter of the AFLQ Grand Final, and the Sharks go to 4-4-28. The Lions 2-1-13. Goes short to Lawton. His captain coach still in the back pocket for the Sharks. Then kicks out towards half-back now. They're away now with a long drop punt from half-back by Crossley. He kicks up towards half-forward. No mark taken at the back, Adrian Hill, but punch forward. The Sharks a chance here. That's at half-forward, 50 metres out from goal. A long kick towards goal by Stevens. It's not marked in the square. McKay, the target. He's back onto the foot. He does his own roving work. On hands and knees there. Picked up on that occasion for the Lions by Turton. His kick no good. McKay there in the 10-yard square. Turns around and puts it through for a goal.
Well, that was direct pressure by his direct opponent, Jamie Pilcher.
So, from full-back, The ball's kicked in long towards the outer side. The target is the big ruckman there in Bradley, but he couldn't take the mark. The Lions have the numbers at ground level. The handball comes over towards that player there in Van Ruin, and I think he's kicked the goal. He has. Good play.
So it's important that they get all 6 of them at this stage of the game into the game as best they can.
Bradley again gets the tap forward for the Sharks. It's certainly heading forward. Picked up out of the pack by Mooney. Fires on goal. In fact, it was smothered. Goes straight in the air. Bolton grabs it. He's picked it up. Got a handball away to a teammate down there in Tarrant. His kick smothered. Another chance for the Sharks here. Adrian Hill kicks it along the ground. It's 20 metres out. Picked up by Clint Watts. Fires over his shoulder and puts it through for a goal. 25 metres out. Another one to the Southport Sharks. They'll go to 6-5-41. The Lions are 3-3-21.
I tell you what, that was nearly the second ruckman Bradley's cleaned up after getting Jamie Sharman early.
So McLaren kicks it out wide, and the player rushing onto the footy there was McGrath. Got a handball over to a teammate for the Lions. He kicks the ball long up towards full forward. Rushing back Mapleston. Can he hold the mark? No. It rolls off his fingertips. Lawton's there for the Sharks. He cleans up at the back. He's tackled just as he was going to handball or kick. Good play there by the Lions by Waller. Handballed it off. Back to that player there in Mapleston, and he's kicked the goal. So a quick answer there for the Lions. Good play. The Lions go to 4-3-27. Southport lead 6-5-41.
So Peter English has the opportunity to send Southport back into attack. A closely fought contest in the AFLQ Grand Final. It's a beauty. English goes onto his right foot, kicks it to the hot spot, looking for McKay. Up he goes, stumped away from him. At the fall, the ball, the Lions a chance to clean up through Tarrant. Fumbled a little bit. The ball spills back into a sea of players. Forward pocket for Southport. It's like a rugby scrum. Kicked off the ground by Peter English, but off the side of his boot. Rain swoops on it, goes back, kicks short towards a teammate who's taken the mark. 20 metres out, virtually directly in front. It might be Devine down there, is it?
Yeah, it is Devine.
It is Adam Devine who's taken the mark.
Devine piece of play, Barry.
And Adam Devine comes in, puts it onto his right foot and puts it straight over the goal umpire's hat. Goal to the Sharks. They'll go to 7 goals, 6-48. The Lions are 4-3-27 on the Leonard scoreboard.
Short lead from Cupido's ignored. So
but there's no movement, fellas. Is there? Have a look down the lines. Every player's just standing still, not moving, creating space.
Cupido led them, but needed to work back and perhaps double back, and they could have gone to him again.
Well, everybody needs to move around because that's what's going to create the loose play.
So Tom Tarrant, a long way from goal, 50 to 55 out when he kicks. There's the kick on its way. Oh, he didn't strike it real well. It's a bit of a floater into the goal square. Off the back, quick step for goal by Kluver, and he's kicked a goal. The margin at the moment is 14 points in favour of the Sharks.
Bounce down again, up they go. Scotty Lawton receives the tap and runs away from half-back. He delivers beautifully too to Clint Watts, who marks. Clint Watts, as he always does, hits the ground running, plays on, goes onto his left foot. Pilcher, a one-on-one contest at half-forward. Turton did well to bring it to ground. Coughlin runs onto it for Southport. 40 metres out, drives it in towards goal and puts it through. Right on the final siren here at Cooperoo.
And how crucial was that clearance by Scotty Lawton and his use of the footy under pressure was terrific.
How far did Sean Coughlin run to get up there down the end of the ground?
Well, he did. He got on his bike.
Got on his bike. Southport 8 goals, 6 now, 54. 8-6-54 at half-time. Lead the Lions 5 goals, 4-34.
Coughlin, Crosley. If the Lions are to lift, they've certainly got to get some more production out of their forward line players.
Absolutely, Cupido and Picken, particularly, and Headland, to a lesser degree, need to really have a good second half from beginning of the game.
Umpire bounces the ball down, and it is the Sharks trying to go forward through the Galing's in there. He can't get the footy, though. The kick out of the pack comes out towards the broadcast wing. The Lions are a chance. First there, McGrath picks up the foot. He's got space. He's got a bit of time. Goes onto his right foot. Kicks the half forward. Cupido, the leader. He was caught between Lawton and also down there with Crosley, who's been hot on his hammer all afternoon. The ball's gone out of bounds. Boundary throw-in.
And Nick Mansbridge has taken up the role. Good to see him back on the field for the Sharks. He's taken on the role of manning up Benny Robbins.
Ruck contest, the ball on the deck. Who's going to be first here? There's Robbins there, and there's Mansbridge right with him. Diving in on top of it was Hadley for the Lions. He's tied up, and the umpire says, give it to me, I'll bounce it just outside, attacking 50 for the Lions on the broadcast half-forward flank.
Well, not too many changes, although I think Clint Watts has got a different opponent because Tommy Tarrant has started very deep in defence, picking up Tressida. So at this stage, I'd say Clint Watts has got a different opponent.
Bounce of the footy, sweeping down the boundary line now where the footy was picking for the Lions, goes for goal, and it gets there, it's goal.
And I think Picken actually is his direct opponent, Clint Watts.
So first goal of the second half to the Lions. They go to 6-4-40. Southport 8,654. That scoreboard brought to you by Leonard's with great meal solutions at 155 stores right across Australia. Danny Craven.
Yeah, well, as you said, Mark, Tarrant has dropped down back as a key defendant in the key defensive post now, and of course, and the ball picking up the ground, looking to, well, actually the forward line.
Now he's the forward line. So I think Shaddock or so the middle four for the Lions is McLaren in the ruck, Benny Robbins, who's been in there all day, Desi Headland, and also Shaddock.
So the Lions get the all-important first goal. Certainly important for them. They needed it. Back to 14 points now in the centre of the ground. Watts tries to spin out of trouble after the ball was bounced down. Headland on hands and knees, taps it out, but he's tapped it straight to Gayling for Southport. He kicks across his body to half foot. Bolton underneath it, just about marked it, not quite. In the back says Ronnie Rogers. The umpire says no. Diving on top of the footy was Mansbridge. And the umpire says give it a B, and we'll have a bounce 55 metres from the Sharks' goal.
Bit of a surprise for the Lions. They put Luke Weller back up forward, which Luke is a much better player, running the ball out of defence.
Yeah, I think they're looking to try and hold the footy inside the forward line.
Yeah, that's true.
Cuberdale and Picken are more likely to provide the flair, whereas Weller will give you the working-like stuff up forward.
For the Lions, they'll run away with it. A handball from McLaren goes to Hammond, and Hammond kicks long towards half forward for the Lions. No mark taken at the back of the pack. Jenkins picks up for the Sharks, kicks out to the outer side looking for Devine, and he takes the mark in front of young Peter Hay of the Lions.
Devine goes further up the boundary line. That'll be okay. I think it might be Gayling out there who's got the footy.
Stevens.
It's Stevens, thank you. Goes onto the right boot, inside 50. Poor kick in the end. And it's cut off this time by the Lions.
Shaddock.
And it is Shaddock who's taken the mark. Comes out wide. That'll be okay. It's a Lions mark. And at half back, the Lions have the footy. So they go in towards the centre of the ground. Oh, a good leap there at the back. And clever mark taken for the Lions.
By Kluver.
And it's Kluver. He's a bit taller than I thought he was, Mark Browning,
yes,
actually, when you get up close. Goes inside 50 with a kick. It wasn't a good kick off the boot. The Sharks will get back in numbers to cut it off. The player there is Jenkins. Has the footy. He's got run down and tackled as he heard the call. Oh, Cupido sweeps in, snaps a goal around the corner on the left boot. It won't be a goal. It's through for one behind.
Gee, golden. Sorry, I nearly lost my headset. Golden opportunity for Lions there.
They look a lot sharper, the Lions Reserves, just at the moment, guys.
They certainly do. They're starting to come good as the footy's been caught in the netting behind the goals.
We'll
and
just read the score while that's happening. It's Southport 8,654. The Lions with that behind moved to 6,541.
well, the footy's in diabolical trouble there as a gentleman behind the goal is working very, very hard to get it down. He's doing a fine. In fact, he's climbing the rigging down there now as he starts to work his way up the net. He's looking like Spider-Man down there as he climbs up a bit further. He's got his hand on it, and I tell you what, if he doesn't get a round of applause after this, this crowd is very, very tough.
We need.
He's on hand. He's fully stretched now, both arms on the footy, trying to tap it back into the field of play. It's bouncing back at him. He's not happy. He's not giving up. He's going to have another crack. Both hands now on the footy. Someone take a photo, for goodness sake.
We need someone from the army because they climb those nettings, don't they?
No, we're going to have another footy.
We've got another footy.
We've got another footy.
I tell you what, he's going to persevere.
He's not going to let up.
He's
He
not
said, I've
giving up.
gone this far. Well, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to feel like I've let myself down if I don't get it. The ball is being delivered from fullback for the Sharks, out towards the wing position where we are on the broadcast side. Falls to the back of the pack. Sharks a chance here. Loose footy, bounces through hands. Robbins on hands and knees, gets a handball out. Umpire's whistle has blown, as you heard. And it's a free kick to Ben Robbins, and he gets up and he's not very happy about it as he pushes over Mansbridge. And Ben Robbins has the ball, virtually still wing position, broadcast side of the ground.
I think Nick Mansbridge has been told to be very physical with Benny Robbins.
Yeah, rough him up a little bit.
But we know that Benny Robbins certainly doesn't lack courage, and he'll enjoy that challenge.
So Robbins kicks it inside 50. It wasn't a great kick off the boot. First there'll be Lawton. He just knocks it straight defensively towards the boundary line for the Sharks, and it's over and out of bounds, about 50 metres away from
and
the
that
Lions'
footy's
goal.
still stuck in the net, Ronnie.
It sure is.
And I tell you what, there are 30 kids sitting underneath it now eyeing it off too. Have a look at it. All right, they're gonna form the pyramid to get it too. Boundary umpire throws the ball back into play inside forward 50 for the Lions. Headland runs onto it, goes for goal, kicks across towards full forward mark. Taken by Cupido, kicks it over his head. 10 metres out and kicks a goal. The Lions get number 7. And they are working their way back into this contest. They're back in it. They are 7-5-47. Southport are 8-6-54. And now we've got a 7-point ball game in the AFLQ Grand Final. Danny Craven.
Yeah, well, the very two players we've perhaps pointed the finger at in the first half, Picken and Cupido, have scored the first 2 goals after half-time. And don't they look a lot more dangerous when they add those two to the equation to the Lions outfit.
Well, the other thing that the Lions have done is drag all the Southport defenders back deep, Danny, as we can see, apart from one or two. Fisher, who was very dangerous for the Southport Sharks early in that first quarter, running the ball out, he's now playing deep on the dangerous pick.
Probably trying to stop or negate Southport's good run out of defence and maybe just give them a chance to catch it up forward.
Bounce of the footy. You're listening to the AFLQ Grand Final, proudly brought to you by Leonard's, as it is Headland again from the centre of the ground, who tries to break clear with the footy. Shaddock runs onto it for the Lions at half forward. Short kick, but it'll be cut off by Fisher for Southport at half back, and he takes the defensive mark. Decides to come out towards the broadcast ring. All players wrestle. Hammond in the back might have given away a free kick. He has. Stevens takes the advantage. Wasn't much of an advantage because he was under the pump. McLaren works hard for the Lions. Tries to tap it to Robbins. Intercepting was Hill for Southport. He couldn't get an effective disposal. Weller does okay. Tries to get it across towards Mapleston. Gets it to Headland. He's about 65 from goal. Kicks it high and long. Picken leans back. Tries to get his opponent under the ball, but couldn't quite hold onto the mark. Over the boundary line and out of bounds. It'll be thrown in about 35 around from the Lions goal.
Pate has come off the ground for the Sharks, being replaced by Peter English.
7 points the difference, and the Lions have done most of the attacking in this third quarter, and we're now 6 minutes into that. Boundary umpire throws it in. McLaren thumps it to the front of the pack for the Lions, gave it to Robbins. Robbins handball went astray though as Gayling grabs hold of it. Another handball for the Sharks, goes over the top looking for Jenkins. He picks it up on the bounce, breaks the tackle, then goes to handball, then decides not to, loses the footy. Van Ruin, good pressure, he got it out. A quick kick out of the pack for the Lions has gone out of bounds on the full in the left back pocket. The Sharks will relieve.
It was good play by Van Ruin there. Jenkins just didn't have anybody to kick to with the clearing kick, so he hung on to it a little bit too long, but good pressure by Tony Van Ruin.
Southport will get the ball cleared to half back, and Jenkins has taken the mark from the kick in. He's probably 35 to 40 metres from the goal. He's defending. Now goes out very wide. He's looking for the big fella Bradley. He had hands on it. The umpire's going to pay the mark. Well, I didn't know that he quite had control of it, but the umpire's deemed that he had enough of it. And Mark Bradley, who's been very good thus far today for Southport, has got the mark. So he's just defensive side of the wing on the outer side. Fairly big crowd there just in front of him.
That's the hospitality tent there, Ronnie.
It sure is. He goes straight up the line. It's a good kick. Hill. And the mark taken by Adrian Hill. So Hill, outer side, wing, decides to bring it in now towards the corridor. Players wrestle, good thump at the back from the Lions defenders, bring the ball to ground. Working hard was 10 to watch. A handball was intercepted. Robbins copped a high one. And I'd say there might be a little bit more of that later on. What's the umpire saying? Well, he's playing a free kick down the ground, so it'll be a Lions free kick. And it's
certainly
going for
paying
Shaddock.
Benny Robbins plenty of attention.
Certainly are giving him plenty of respect in this third quarter. The kick to half forward for the Lions. Cupido picks it up on the bounce, weaves a bit of magic. 55 from goal, standing start, drops it onto his left foot. It's across the face, won't be a goal, won't be a score in the middle. Mapleston tries to pick it up, but it comes off his hands and goes through for a rush point to the Brisbane Lions. They'll go to 7-6-48, the Southport Sharks. 8-6-54, a 6-point ball game now. One kick in it in the AFLQ Grand Final.
So, one clear kick in it. Jenkins will bring the ball in for the Sharks. And the game certainly tightening up, as you would expect in a grand final. Brings the ball out wide. Big pack of players. Oh, a bit of shepherding.
Yeah,
the
shepherding
umpire has deemed that is illegal. And Crosley, will take the free kick. So Crosley handballs off to a teammate and gets it back again. That was Coughlin. Oh, his kick smothered. Now they've got a problem. Working hard there. Oh, for the Lions. It might have been McGrath, was it? Lawton goes in hard, gets a little kick along the ground. That'll be okay. The big ruckman, Bradley, has the ball, sells the dummy, buys himself a bit of space, kicks it to half forward, but it'll be cut off. And Aaron Shaddock will take the defensive mark for the Lions at half back.
Now he's about 20 metres inside the boundary line, goes onto his right foot. The pass there for Van Ruin over his head, and the ball dribbles out of bounds, and we'll have a boundary throw in now. Forward of the wing for the Lions by about 25 metres, broadcast side of the ground. It's 6 points the difference in the AFL Queensland Grand Final.
So boundary throw in will be McLaren. I think he's going to do the ruck work. He did okay. Knocked it down towards Hammond. He couldn't quite get a handle on the ball. He tries to knock it to the advantage of Picken. Working hard in there was Kluver, I think it was. He might have got a shove in the back. I said play on. Handball come out to Stevens. He couldn't get a handle on it. Robbins gets a wild handball for the Lions back towards half forward. Big pack of players around it. A scrubby kick comes out for the Lions towards full forward. Working hard, then there was Cupido. Lawton in the last line of defence. 4. The Sharks dribbles it across the back half very cleverly over the boundary line and out of bounds.
Very experienced play.
Where's their lift come from, boys, in this third quarter? Because
Well,
at the moment they're just playing right over the Sharks, the Lions.
The Benny Robbins is certainly getting a lot of the in and under stuff around the middle of the ground. Those type of players have just lifted, and they're just working a little bit harder at ground level in their forward line.
Watts goes up in the ruck for the Sharks, but it spills to the back of the pack. A fire on goal for the Lions from about 25 metres out has gone through for a point, and that came from Kluver. So the Lions doing all the attacking, and now they'll go to 7-7-49. It's 5 points the difference in the AFLQ Grand Final.
Crosley brings the ball in for the Sharks, brings it out wide. It might be Coughlin out there on the outer side. I think he'll head the footy. Goes up towards the wing. Good kick. Mansbridge takes the mark. Plays on. Kicks up towards half forward. Good mark on the outer
Terrific
side.
mark.
And that was taken by Tanderwatch, I think.
Yep.
On the outer side half forward line. He's a long way from goal. Brings it into the corridor looking for McKay. Bolton fills the hole. Did well for the Lions. Gets back in defence and takes the mark at true centre half back.
Showed courage there, Craig Bolton.
He's been very good, actually, Bolt.
Yeah, he has.
Kicks short and finds Weller. He has to pick it up on the bounce. In fact, it went back towards full back. Weller's got it now as he kicks up towards Morrison as a can of drink falls down the hole. No, we saved it, Danny. Well done. Morrison's got the footy for the Lions. Shane Morrison at half back. He goes short again to Ben Robbins. Hasn't he been prominent in this third quarter? Ben Robbins running all over the ground. The Lions starting to run. Well, Matty Kennedy told us at half-time that they would continue to run, the young men. He goes short to Shaddock, and Shaddock takes the mark after receiving the kick from Ben Robbins. Shaddock hugged in on the boundary line, broadcast side, just backward of the wing. He goes short to Robbins again, who's run up, taken the mark, and he's got space, runs away, but
well
his kick
smothered.
smothered beautifully by Mark Mooney, who came from nowhere, ran across Ben Robbins, thought he had a bit more time than he did, and well done to Mark Mooney. The ball's gone out of bounds, true wing position, broadcast side. The Sharks lead by 5 points, but the Lions are coming at him in the AFLQ Grand Final.
So boundaries throw in right in front of our broadcast position. Up they go in the ruck. The ball knocked down. Who's going to be first there? Headland shows fairly good pace. Takes a bounce. Takes two. You want to get rid of it quickly. He does. He gets a long handball, but it's going to be intercepted. And what's happening here?
Free kick.
Well, Headland's won the free kick for being fouled after he delivered the ball. So
just getting a little bit
silly play by the Sharks because they had the advantage there when that handball was intercepted.
Just had that one bounce too many then, Desi, and then they gave a hurried handball under pressure straight to the opposition.
Well, I tell you what, it's taken the sting out of him.
It's taking a while to get up
he
too,
can't.
just
I
quietly.
think he's got a corky or an ankle.
So he's doesn't look like he's going to take his kick, and it might be McGrath there, boys, is it? It's got the footy. Is it McGrath?
Yep.
Who's going to take the kick in place of Headland, who's hobbling around and in the hands
He's in a
of
bit of
trainers.
trouble.
He is.
He's in trouble.
He is. So McGrath from the centre of the ground for the Lions, kicks it long and high. Up they go, well as the target, couldn't take the mark, the ball on the ground. They pile in after it. Southport seem to have plenty of numbers around the footy. A wild handball comes out. It'll be okay. I think it's Mansbridge who's got the footy. Gets a handball back to a teammate who's pushed off his kick at the last moment. Working hard, Van Bullen. Could have got a free kick for pushing the back. Umpire said play on. The ball out towards the boundary line. Good defensive play by Fisher, who worked very hard, and he sent it over the boundary line and out of bounds.
And fellas, isn't the pressure immense now from the Lions forwards? The ball's
That's
congested
a
in there. It really is making, well, it's an attitudinal thing across the ground. There's no question after half-time.
True wing position, boundary umpire throws it in. Bradley gets the tap for the Sharks, but he puts it straight into the arms of Ben Robbins on the wing, who kicks long to half forward. Kluver up, he couldn't mark, but he picks it up on the bounce for the Lions. Goes short, looking for Headland, runs with the fly to the footy, marks, 45 out, drops it onto his right foot. Goal to the Lions.
Lions are in front of them.
Lions hit the front in the AFLQ Grand Final. They lead now by 1 point on the Leonard scoreboard. 8-6-54 Southport, 8-7-55 the Lions. Tell us about that one, Danny Craven.
Yeah, well, that was actually all half set up by young Hayden Kluver. He's had a couple of telling touches
Been
today.
very lively.
And without actually having a lot of the football, he's done some very good things. And, of course, Headland, well, you know, he's had influence already this quarter, and then he's bounced back from a bit of a bad knock in the centre there to pop that through.
I suppose the dangerous sign, Danny, is that not only haven't Southport scored a goal in the third quarter, they haven't scored at all.
Yeah, and they're kicking with probably a 2 or 3 goal bruise. That's probably the other thing.
So from the ruck contest, Shaddock works hard again for the Lions. Again, the Lions look to have the numbers, although Robbins has tackled and fouled. The ball spills out of his fingers. Shaddock again goes back in after it. Gets a little kick to Weller. Weller to Headland on 50. Sets sail for goal again. It's long. It's just offline. And through for one behind.
He's dangerous, Headland, because he runs and carries the football when he does gain possession.
The Lions 8-8-56 on the Leonard scoreboard. Southport 8-6-54. 2 points in it in the AFLQ Grand Final.
Do you reckon Headland's recovered from that
I
injury?
think he might have.
The long kick from fullback for the Sharks. It's a grand final. They just keep getting back up. Up they go in the marking contest. No mark taken. It falls to the front of the pack. Still at half forward for the Lions. Grabbed by Roberts. Handballs to Van Reel. Put him under pressure. The young man showed a bit of, certainly a bit of initiative as he tapped it towards McGrath. McGrath got a kick around his body towards the forward pocket. He was looking for Mapleston. The ball went over his head and out of bounds.
Tony Van Rooyen, fellas, for a young player, he's just been terrific.
Well, he just kept his eye on the footy. Then he knew there was a steam train coming. He just didn't take his eye off it. It was terrific.
He's got a good footy brain on his shoulders, that's for sure. He was trying to tap it to the advantage of a teammate, which was clever playing. Boundary throwing out aside, still deep in the Lions forward line. Who's going to be first? Player taken very high.
It was a hip to the shoulder region from Scotty Lawton, who was, I think, going for the footy as well. And just bent over the footy was McLaren, and he caught him high.
I don't think it was as bad as perhaps what it looked.
No.
But certainly,
I'm sure it wasn't.
20 metres out, has a chance to make them pay.
Well, it's just been their work rate at ground level, Danny, where they really just didn't work hard enough to lock the footy in the first quarter, first half of the game. Yeah. The intensity around the ball in the forward line has been the difference.
Yeah, there's no question. Like at half-time, they would have walked out of those rooms with under no illusions as to what was required from Craig Britton to get themselves back in the game and pop that through.
He has. He's kicked the goal for the Lions and gives them a little bit of a buffer. They go to 9-8-62, 8-point leaders over Southport, who are 8-6-54. And that scoreboard brought to you by Leonard's. Leonard's, the meal solutions people who proudly support the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Well, we talked, Danny, at half-time about players in relation to BOG, and we talked about Benny Roberts, but him and Headland have been the catalyst, haven't they? And also Dylan McLaren.
Well, you've got to say, look, Bradley's been pretty good today, but McLaren, and with the loss of Sharman's, had to stand up, play a lone hand today, and he's been very good. Look, there he goes again.
Good bounce in the centre of the ground. The tap down goes to Shaddock from that man, McLaren. He kicks towards half forward, kicks inside 50, very, very deep. Luke Jenkins at the back of the pack for the Sharks, picks it up, finds a bit of space, then kicks out wide. Coughlin runs onto it. He kicks it along the ground. Is he going for the line? Shaddock will get there first, though, picks it up, handballs across to Robbins, breaks the tackle, goes on his right foot, and he's been flattened after he's kicked it. And it's a free kick downfield of the line. Tell us about it, Mark.
Yeah, look, Nick Mansbridge, he's just got to be a little bit careful, Nick. I think he's either trying to even up, but I just think he's got to be a little bit more disciplined.
He's got to be focused on the footy, because I think Robbins has had probably 7 or 8, perhaps close to 10 touches in 20 minutes of footy. Well, he's supposed to be tagging him.
Well, I think that's certainly a time for a change in the matchup. I think shaky Sean Stevens is now playing on Benny Robbins.
Well, Des Headland is the man with the footy, so it couldn't have gone to anyone worse as far as the Sharks are concerned. A long drop punt. Distance won't be a problem, and have a look at the accuracy. It's a beauty. Goal to Des Headland, 20 metres inside the boundary line, out of sight. He loves it, and so do the Lions supporters. The Lions go to 10 goals, 8-68. Southport Sharks, 8-6-54. The Lions looking to create history to win their first AFLQ Grand Final. That's on the Leonard scoreboard. Tell us about it, Mark Browning.
Well, it's just the hard running of the Brisbane Lions, but it was an undisciplined act by Nick Mansbridge. There was no need for that. They've just got to be a little bit more disciplined around the footy, Danny, but I think it's in and around this centre of the ground that is causing the Sharks all the problems.
Yeah, they've got Mooney's just come off and been replaced by Rains on the wing as we start.
So the ball back in the centre of the ground. Certainly now the Sharks are the ones that need a goal. Bounce of the footy. Up they go. Might have been won by Bradley. Who's going to be on the end of it? Player had it, lost it for the Sharks. Couldn't get clear. Again, Shaddock, who's broke from the centre the last couple of times, does it again. Kicks long off the left boot to full forward. Getting back there was Jenkins. Didn't take the mark. Off the back, Cupido snaps a goal. And missed every. Would he missed everything? It might have snuck in from behind. It has. So behind on the board.
Sorry, Ronnie.
You're right.
Just look, he's just a bit too greedy, Cupido, at times. He really could have fed that footy off. Wants to do the
centre it back in front of the goal.
Wants to do the spectacular.
On the Leonard scoreboard, the Lions move to 10-9-69. Southport 8-6-54.
Luke Jenkins got the ball at full back for Southport. Looks for his options. Bradley on the broadcast side making position, but McLaren right with him. A one-on-one marking contest, but over the top, Crosley comes, sumps it to the front of the pack. It's dumped forward towards the wing. It comes in towards that player running for it down there is Devine. Can't get there. The ball spills back to Nick Rains just on the ground. Goes onto his right foot for Southport. Kicks the half forward, dropping back though into the hot spot and showing courage was Aaron Shaddock, who took an overhead mark. He goes out wide to Weller, who's made position. Also running with him for the Lions down there on that occasion is Tarrant. He picks up, kicks up forward. Up they go. Kluver the target. Couldn't mark. On hands and knees. Mansbridge tries to come on the footy. Lotted. Des Headland steals it. Takes 2 bounces. Runs inside 4. forward 50 for the Lions, goes onto his left foot, fires in towards goals and touched on the line by Brad Fisher. Will wait.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it has been a point to the Lions. Brad Fisher dropped back, had to run with the flight of the foot. He did well, but the Lions doing all the attacking. They're 10-10-70. Southport 8-6-54 on the Leonard scoreboard.
Jenkins goes short from the kick in for the Sharks and finds Crosley, who takes the mark. So Troy Crosley, probably 25 metres from the goal he's defending, has the mark in his defensive half. They really need a goal, the Sharks. You just get the feeling the game's getting away from them. Long towards the centre of the ground is a very good kick, and Stevens takes the mark. Plays on for the Sharks. Got a player running out wide in support. Feeds off the handball. Goes short, might be Mansbridge. Goes short, and the player who took the mark was Hill. So Adrian Hill looking to come back now towards the corridor, I think. No, he's going to go straight up. He's got the lead from McKay. He leads and takes the strong mark. Well, he's just inside 50, but he's on a pretty sharp angle. But at least, boys, he's got the wind blowing with him.
Yeah, it's the scoring side of the ground, and also being a left footer. He's on the correct kicking leg from that pocket.
Yeah, he's kicked 97 for the year, Barry, I think.
He
so
has,
this will be
yes.
Goal 98 if he can convert here.
And the Sharks really need a lift.
They sure do. So, Rod McKay. In he comes. Oh, he's kicked into the man. Can you believe it? Smothered off the boot by Morrison. And the ball's gone over the boundary line and out of bounds. It'll be thrown back into play on the outer side, probably 60 metres around from the Shark goal.
Well, gentlemen, hasn't the tide just turned?
Well, it's turned a fair way.
Indicative of that too. But Mackay's been pretty well held today by Morrison.
Morrison's
done a good job on him.
5 goals in the third quarter thus far to the Lions, and Southport have not scored a point as yet. The boundary umpire throws it in, tap to the advantage of McGrath for the Lions. Can't pick it up though, but he does now. Did well, the young man, as he tried to spin out of trouble, but lost the loose footy. It spills through a sea of hands, picked up by Bolton for the Lions. Kicks out towards the outer side wing, and the mark's been taken down there. It looks like Mapleston.
Yeah.
He goes short into the centre of the ground. Kluver, the target, a bit long for him. This could be dangerous if Southport can get a possession, but Kluver did well. Went back onto it. Handballs to Bolton. He kicks inside forward 50 for the Lions, dropping back and taking the mark. Southport defenders. A short kick comes out to Brad Fisher, who takes the mark at half-back, runs around, kicks to the broadcast wing. Nick Raines takes the mark.
Plays on from the wing. He steps around the line defender there in Weller, then kicks it inside or up towards 50. Robbins drops back, went with the one hand, couldn't take the mark. Tander watch, has the ball in front of him, beats off one. He's got 3 to beat though. His handball smothered, he goes back in after it. Tapped out by the Lions defenders over the boundary line though. Good defensive play to be thrown back in, probably 45 metres around from the Shark goal.
Gee, the Sharks just need a real lift from their midfield. Clint Watt's been pretty well held this quarter.
So boundary throw in. The Sharks certainly needing a goal. Doing the ruck walk, it was clever play in the end by the big fella Bradley. He knocked it over the back of the pack towards Hill.
Oh,
he couldn't
too
get an
high.
effective disposal. Umpire
Gee.
called play on, kicked around the corner by Devine, very high, up to full forward. Morrison, I think it was, went with a two-hand punch, picked off the pack by Pilcher, snaps his goal and kicks goal number 4.
Did Morrison have an opportunity, Danny, there to mark that footy?
Well, there's no doubt he was head and shoulders above everyone else and probably should have, but I suppose he's been playing that key defensive role all day and the double-fisted punch.
Pilcher gets his 4th. Southport get their 9th, I think.
Yep.
And they go to 9-6-60. And the Lions are 10-10-70, so 10 points in it. That scoreboard brought to you by Lennons and Mark Browning. Well, a valuable goal there for the Sharks.
Yeah, valuable. And I was just thinking that Turton had restricted Pilcher and sort of taken him out of the game, but it was probably a pretty ordinary decision-making situation by Morrison there where he could have really taken the mark.
So we look at the time clock and it tells us we're deep into red time in the third quarter. 10 points the difference, the Lions lead. Southport a late goal from the bounce down. Raines had it, then lost it. He was tackled. It spilled to McGrath for the Lions. Kicks long inside forward 50. Cubidale run onto it. Bouncing footy 15 metres out. If he can pick it up, he can't. Coughlin there runs in for Southport. Kicks it through for a rush point to the Lions. They'll go to 10-11-71. Southport 9-6-60. It's 11 points the difference in the AFLQ Grand Final. A terrific game of footy here at Cooperoo. We hope you're enjoying the action through 98.9 FM Brisbane and across Australia on the NIRS network.
The kick in from fullback comes out towards Gayling and he takes the mark for the Sharks just inside his own defensive 50. Kicks it high and wide towards the wing. No one can get a fist or hand on it. It rolls towards the boundary line, in the end over for a boundary throw in true wing position, broadcast side. It'll be thrown back into play. Yes, we're into red time in this third term. The Lions lead by 11 points.
Boundary umpire set to throw the ball back into play and does so now. A pretty good one at that too. The ruckman will go at it. Bradley there for Southport as he's been all day. Taps it. Rains there. Rains keeps it in front of him, tapping it around. Lawton tries to help him out. Rains caught up in a tackle. The ball spills. McGrath kicks off the ground for the Lions and the ball goes out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw in now about 80 metres around from the Lions
Pretty
goal.
crucial last couple of minutes of this quarter, fellas. 11-point lead to the Lions.
So, boundary throw in. Again, McLaren will do the ruck work for the Lions, which he's done most of the day with that unfortunate loss of Charman early in the game. Up he goes. He might have been beaten on that occasion by Bradley, who knocked it straight back towards the boundary line and over.
And definitely Sean Stevens has taken on the responsibility to be a lot more accountable with Benny Robbins, his first opponent for the quarter, Nick Mansbridge, just gave him too much space.
So again, a boundary throw in. About 75 metres from the Lions goal. Up they go. McLaren got the tap down. Good play by Hadley. Goes for goal from 50. It's going straight. It's just hasn't got the legs.
Hung up in the breeze.
It did in the end and was tapped through for one behind. So the Lions moved to 10-12-72. Southport Sharks 9-6-60. Late in the third term. That scoreboard brought to you by Leonard's. Leonard's with great meal solutions at 155 stores right across Australia.
Troy Crossley has the ball at full-back for the Southport Sharks, and he goes bang onto his right foot, kicks it a short 30-metre drop punt. He was looking for a teammate down there in Stevens. Did he mark it? The umpire said no. Bradley helps him out, the ruckman. Handballs off to Peter English, breaks the tackle, goes onto his right foot, kicks into the centre of the ground, running onto the footy down there. Mackenzie on the ground, tries to keep it in front of him. Hammond not hot in his hammer for the Lions. Hammond gets the better of it. It's close to the line, out of side wing now. Hammond brings it back into play, picking up and diving on top of the footy down there was Bolton, but the ball comes off hands and goes out of bounds, and we'll have a boundary throw in. True wing position, out of sight of the ground. It's the Lions now by 12 points here at Cooperoo in the AFLQ Grand Final. Very, very close to three-quarter time.
So boundary throw in, out of side. McLaren will go at it with Bradley. Up they go. McLaren won it down. Rushing through there again. I think it's Headland on the outer side. There it is. Beat off one opponent. Steps back onto the left boot. Gets his kick away. Long inside 50. Getting back Weller. Had one crack at it. Couldn't take the mark. Picked off the pack by Picken. He's besieged by opponents. Tied up. And the umpire said, give it to me, I'll come in and bounce. One thing I must say, fellas, I thought the umpire's done a pretty good job today.
Yeah,
Haven't noticed them a lot.
No.
And I thought they've been pretty good.
They got it right most times, Ronnie, for sure.
So the umpire, that man Ronnie was just talking about, has done a very good job, has the footy in his hands and he slams it into the turf. Shows no respect for the turf here at Cooperoo. From the ruck contest, it's tapped down to the front of the pack. Lions working hard. They'll get another snap-on goal here from about 25 metres out. It's gone across the face. Bouncing footy, and it goes out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw in 20 metres around from their goal.
He's been terrific in this quarter, Kluver. His finishing skills at times aren't what they should be.
So boundary throw in, deep in the forward pocket for the Lions. Another goal here would certainly be handy just before three-quarter time. Up they go. The ruck contest. It was picked off the top of the pack by a Southport defender who kicked it back towards the centre of the ground. And it's Mackenzie who's taken the mark. Not quite in the centre. He's probably just outside his own defensive 50. Or scrubby old kick off the boot. It'll might come off though. It won't. They all dive in on top of the footy. Oh, player going very heavily there of the man rather than the ball. Advantage played. Headland's got the advantage. Oh, gets around an opponent and Lawton runs inside 50. Didn't make real good contact with the footy though. Line and through for one behind.
And cramping up too, Headland.
Has had a big third term, but probably feeling the effects of that. The Lions 10-13-73. Southport 9-6-60. Barry Denner takes up the call.
Crossley delivers again from fullback and he goes to halfback. He was looking for Peter Inglis and went to the back of the pack. Coughlin picks up, handballs the ball off to Galing, who gets a long handball out to the outer side to Mansbridge, who takes it and takes a bounce, takes a second bounce, runs to half forward for Southport, delivers with a drop punt that doesn't come off. McKay on the burst, takes the mark, 40 metres out. Well, the drop punt really didn't come off the boot, but I tell you what, after the game, he'll say it was a beautiful pass. The Lions lead by 13 points, Danny Craven.
Yeah, well, McKay, rewarded for playing in front there, and he once Rocket gets close to getting his hands on the footy, he's not too many blokes get to knock it away. He gets a chance now to put the Sharks within 7 points.
Well, he's been the Sharks' leading goal kicker for the last 4 seasons, has McKay. So the big man, Rod McKay, comes in. He kicked 1 goal in the second quarter. This will be his second for the afternoon if he puts it through the left foot. Drop punt is a beauty. Goal right on the siren for the Sharks. They go to 10-6-66. The Lions 10-13-73. So it's back to 7 points the difference, ladies and gentlemen, in the AFLQ Grand Final. That's on the Leonard scoreboard, Mark Browning.
Well, you would have to say, Danny, that the Lions have had numerous opportunities in the last 10 minutes to really put this game, not from...
almost out of reach.
Yeah, almost, but at the same time, they haven't put the Sharks away.
No.
And all of a sudden, we're back to 7 points.
Well, a couple of quick carries into their forward line, a couple of goals, and the Sharks, yeah, it's a very, very tight struggle now.
Ball back in the centre of the ground. There's the bounce. It's a good one. Up they go in the ruck. One clearly this time by Bradley of Southport. Knocked it down towards a teammate in Tanderwatch. He can't get clear. Swung around in the tackle. As the umpire said that, he says, give it to me. I'll come in and bounce the footy. So just defensive side of the centre for the Lions. It'll be bounced in the centre of the ground.
Young Lou McMahon's just come on the ground to replace Tony Van Ruin, who probably deserves a breather the way he's attacked the footy today. And they're getting a little bit extra height through McMahon.
Bounce of the footy, one again, clearly by Bradley, but he couldn't find a teammate at ground level. Bolton has the footy, but he's tied up, not going anywhere, and again a bounce. So they made a little bit of ground, the Southport Sharks. They're almost at half forward, where the umpire will come in and bounce the footy.
Well,
again.
it set it up, hasn't it, fellas, for a great last quarter?
Absolutely.
It's a real contest in the AFLQ Grand Final. It's a beauty. The Lions and the Sharks. Up they go. Lions lead by 7 points. Thumped inside forward 50 for Southport. Picked up by Robbins. Haben grabs it as he received a handball from Robbins. Gets another handball away. The Lions trying to come out of defence. A player caught high down there. Kluver will take the free kick at half back. He's virtually in the centre of the ground. He kicks out wide looking for Shaddock. Oh, Lord was coming the other way. Shaddock close to the footy, took the mark.
He's been good this quarter.
Yeah, he has.
Aaron Shaddock on the wing position, broadcast side of the ground. He went for Cupido. Too long for him, but at the back of the pack, Marcus Picken diving for the footy has taken the mark 40 metres out. Well, 45-degree angle.
Well, I feel a bit for Sean Coughlin in that situation because it really did look as though the ball was going to be contested by Cupido and his direct opponent in Crosley, but the ball just carried it a little bit. Picken was the player in front and took a diving mark. Pretty important kick at goal, this in the context of the game. So late in the third quarter, the Sharks had stemmed the tide a little bit, but this gives the Lions a real opportunity.
So Marcus Picken has kicked one goal in this term. Comes in, he'll kick from 45 metres out, 45-degree angle, broadcast side, drops it onto his right foot. It doesn't come off. Sliced it, and a point on the board to the Lions. They'll go to 10-14 now, 74. Southport at 10-6-66. So the Lions, perhaps, as the boys said, Mark Brenning and Danny Craven, not making the most of their opportunities in this third quarter. Time will tell, Ronnie Rogers.
Certainly will, as Jenkins is going to bring the ball back in for Southport. Goes long. Now, what's going on here? The umpire says he's run out of the square. So,
hang on. And Bradley's punched the ball away. Fellas, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if it's a free kick.
It is a free kick. No.
Well, I said they've done a good job and I changed my
Is it a
mind.
free kick?
Yeah, it is.
It is a free
What,
kick.
for punching the ball away?
He punched the ball away.
After the whistle had been blown and ruled.
Well, I think that's pretty tough because it's going to be a certain goal. And the player with the footy is going to be Cupido.
And he'll put this out onto Stanley Street.
And he comes and kicks a goal, and go fetch that one if you're game.
And there's $80 just disappeared.
And that has gone into Stanley Street
Well,
too.
there's the three-quarter
Right
time
on the
siren.
siren.
I think that's a disappointing end of the quarter because certainly those sort of goals are pretty costly at any time, but certainly at the end of a third quarter in a grand final, certainly that may tend to prove costly for Southport.
And look, grand finals won and lost by little indiscretions like that, and as small as it may have been, technically in the rules, I guess it was there, and the umpies paid it, but you hate to see your games influenced by little things like that.
On the scoreboard at three-quarter time, it's the Lions moving to a 14-point advantage. They're 11-14-80. South.
Boundary umpire set to throw the ball back into play. Still deep into attack for the Brisbane Lions. Up they go. Tap to the back of the pack. Richard Hadley's there. Kluver.
He's got it.
Across
He's
his body. High. 20
goal.
Goal to the Lions.
He's been terrific. His third quarter was sensational.
Yeah, his second half's been great. And management just come off Kluver and replaced by Brad Fisher off the bench.
The centre bounce favoured Bradley and he tapped it forward. Tanderwatch has got the footy for Southport at half forward. Kicks it along inside 50 on the lead. Pilcher takes the grab. So,
Gee, hadn't he made the most of every opportunity, Jamie
sure has.
Pilcher?
Well, he's kicked 4, I think, today, and probably could have had 5 of that check side kick, I think, in the second quarter.
Another former Southport junior player, Ronnie.
Yep.
Yeah, he actually, I think he went to Western Australia for a little while, Jamie. He came back and went to Labrador, but he's ended up back at Southport and been a terrific player today.
And he's probably one who, in today's Grand Final record. They had the team of the year, and he's one that's probably a bit stiff to perhaps miss out as a coming forward.
35 to 40 out, almost directly in front, goes for goal, and I think he has kicked it, he has. So Pilcher gets goal number 5, and Southport get goal number 11. They're 11-6-72. They trail the Lions, who are 12-14-86. We're back to a 14-point margin at ground level. It was Stevens for the Sharks. Picked it up and kicked it to half forward, but the Lions have the numbers off the pack. Bolton does well, kicks it up towards Picken, who takes the mark, attacking side of the wing on the broadcast side.
Got to get it to the top side.
So Marcus Picken, still a long way from goal, 2 kicks from goal, goes long. He's looking there for Robbins, and it fell into his arms and he took the mark. Well, it was a bit of a kick in hope. I don't think it was really planned for Robbins, but Robbins fell into the hole and it fell into his chest as the ball fell short into the breeze. He's kicked it wide. The player out there is McLaren,
good kick.
And he's taken the mark. So he'll go back and kick for goal from 25 to 30 out. Probably 25 out.
And he had to do that because we've seen today that we've had 6 or 7 players have a shot from that 45-metre mark in that pocket and just fail to get the distance. And he had to play on quickly, which he did. And terrific work.
Well, he's
there.
not a noted long kick Robbins either, is he, Mark? So
no, and look, I'm not sure. I must admit, I haven't seen a lot of Dylan McLaren with his skills, Danny.
No,
should kick this.
25 out.
Should, but it's a lot of pressure on
directly
the
in front, puts it on its way. Oh, it's swinging across. I think it's a goal.
He's kicked it.
So a goal to the Lions, and as we move up to probably about the 5 or 6 minute mark of the final term, the Lions move to 13-15-93. Southport 11-6-72. That scoreboard brought to you by our friends at Leonard's.
Both sides just having a red-hot go to win the AFLQ Grand Final. 21 points the difference at the moment, and the Lions could be creating history here and win their first Grand Final. Tap down to the ruck contest to Rains. He kicks across his body to half forward for the Sharks. Taken off the pack by Pilcher. Runs inside forward 50, 40 out. Fires on goal, and I tell you what, I reckon he's kicked it.
It's a goal.
A goal to the Sharks. That's his 6th for the afternoon.
As we're in the closing stages of the AFLQ Grand Final 2001, it will be a Brisbane Lions premiership, one would suggest. And let's hope for the Brisbane Lions fans that we might be saying the same thing come next Saturday at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. From the throw-in, the ball has come down
free kick to Southport, Ronnie, in the run contest.
But there is a free kick to Southport, and it will go to Bradley, who's rucked pretty tirelessly today too, hasn't he, Danny?
He has, Ronnie, yeah. Although, it'd be fair to say McLaren has taken up to in the second half of the game, but he's been fairly consistent and certainly one of their Southport's better players today.
So, Mark Bradley will kick for goal from probably about 35 to 40 metres out, and probably will have a good chance of kicking this goal. And he comes, the umpire moves across, but I think he's kicked it, he has. So Bradley gets a goal. Is that his first today, boys? I think it is.
Yep.
That's his first goal for Mark Bradley. Takes Southport to 13-8-86. 12 points in arrears of the Brisbane Lions, who are 13-20-98. Triple A NRS football right across Australia with Mark Browning.
Well, while there's time, you're still a chance, Ronnie, and
yes.
Quick centre clearance here.
Well,
two
quick goals. We might be back here next week.
Well, now there is a thought. There is a thought. There is a thought. The umpire in the centre again, because that is quite true. The game has to be played next week if it is a draw. No extra time. Bradley taps it down in the ruck contest to a teammate down there in Mark Mooney for Southport, and they do go back into attack. Long kick to half forward. Have they got Crummers? No, Bolton there at the back of the pack will run onto it. Pilcher's lurking but can't get there. Bolton under pressure now from the big man Tressiter, and the ball goes out of bounds.
I don't think so, fellas, because I think the game was either going to be replayed next Thursday night or was going to be played the week after the Grand Final.
Okay, so it won't be next week, but it's definitely not going to be extra time here today.
No.
So boundary umpire gets set to throw the ball back in. Lions lead by 12 points.
So up they go in the ruck contest. Bradley had clean hands on the footy, got it down to a teammate on the outer side who kicks Southport now up towards full forward. Morrison drifts back, big thump, and there it is! Victory in the AFLQ Grand Final 2001 to the Brisbane Lions in a history-making win here at Cooperoo.
So the final scoreboard reads Southport 13 goals, 886 have gone down to the Lions. 13 goals, 20, 98, 12 points. The winners, the Brisbane Lions. And players celebrate at half forward for Southport. They're Lions players, though. They've all converged up to that end of the ground. And certainly out here this afternoon, we've witnessed a fantastic contest between these two sides. Goal scorers for the winning side, the Brisbane Lions. 3 goals to Des Headland, 2 of those in an inspired third quarter. And then 2 goals to Damien Cupido, both in the third quarter. 2 goals to Dylan McLaren, both after half-time. 2 goals to Hayden Kluver, 2 goals to David Mapleston. They were both in the first half of the match out here this afternoon. Tony Van Ruin kicked 1 goal. Marcus Picken kicked 1 goal also. And for Southport, the Sharks, who certainly weren't disgraced here this afternoon, going for their 5th premiership in a row. They didn't get there. Jamie Pilcher, though, kicked 6 goals for the afternoon, 3 in the first half, 3 in the second half. He had a beauty. 2 goals to Rod Mackay, who didn't make the 100-goal mark in the final analysis of season 2001, finishing on 98 goals for the year. And then single goal scorers for Southport. Mark Bradley, the ruckman, got 1. Ashley Gayling got 1 goal. Adam Devine, 1 goal. Clint Watts, the champion, got 1 goal. And Sean Coughlin also kicked